Calling all peoples. Calling all peoples. Calling all peoples. Oh my goodness. Welcome, welcome. Today is a day. The energy has straight smacked me across the face. Hello, how's everyone doing today? The energy is so intense for me. I am very multidimensional. I am very much working to stay tethered to this planet right now and be in this place. So I thought I'd roll the dice and see if maybe popping in here and connecting with all of y'all might ground me a little bit. It will either make me more present in the earth realm, or I'll get so expansive I just like straight take off. So how's it going? How are the energies moving there? Hi from New Zealand. How's it going, nature fellow? Yeah. Hey, Matt James. I mean, this week is such a transitional week. You know, I've been talking in videos and energy updates and such about how January is, in a way, the calm before the storm. And there's been this building, and many of us have been clarifying and activating in all of these different ways. And it's sudden, for me at least, how different reality feels today. I have had a real gush and opening, just like someone described it as me truly being like a slow motion bomb detonating. Just beautiful. I imagine it as a glitter bomb. I invite you to also see it as a glitter bomb. But there's a flexibility to this earth reality that all of a sudden, the way I'm experiencing it, is like all possibility is right here, right now. My ability to work with my energetic bodies and awarenesses across all of the dimensions is so unified. It's extraordinary. And I know that I tend to be at the fringes, sort of the extreme, like cutting the path part for the rest of humanity and these sorts of experiences. But I know all of y'all are also feeling your light and potential, and even if things are hard or uncertain, you are activated, right? Like go time is here. We're just waiting for everything to unfold in the materiality around us. But like February is basically on us. And February is where it starts to really change. Hello, Kasha, hello. Thanks for the roses, long creations. Nature fellow, you're saying I feel quite shattered, but yet at the same time uplifted. Yeah, well said. Well said. It's beautiful. Hi, Claudia. Welcome. Come on in. Kasha, you're starting a new path of your life today and setting up a new energetic business, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you. Well done. Well done. Oh my gosh. Yes. You did that quickly. Well done. Sorry, I'm going to run that energy through. See, even joy, we want to allow it to run through the body. It can become uncomfortable and anxiety if we try to hold on to it. Let it run through and give it to the earth, and it cycles. Yeah, on creations it has been intense the last couple of weeks. A professional cuddler. Beautiful, beautiful. I love this work for you. That really resonates. Oh, I'm so excited to hear about how that unfolds. It feels so... I mean, this is how the multidimensional living works, right? Like, this is its own beautiful, juicy, fully formed, can continue to just unfold and unfold thing. And also I feel in it how it also can serve as just like the seed of this other many different iterations that want to come through you, and you're opening up that path. And it's... I am alight with joy for the fact that you are doing this and stepping into it and anchoring your light like that and leaping. Yes, leaping, that's the word. I can feel like the net of creation so excited to catch you. You know, like it's a game almost, and that's their part of the game. They get to catch you. More professional cuddlers. I mean, this is the age for that. And that's going to become more and more important as humanity continues to transition into the many different dynamic options of existence here. One of the things that's going to tie all of those together is the physicality experience. In one way or another, we're going to need different and more attention to tending our physical bodies, touch, connection, intimacy, neurotransmitters. This also is connected to how we run the energy through our central columns and anchor to the earth. This is part of, I'm just flowing here, part of why now is also the season we're entering into for soul partnerships to start opening in different ways, for us to be actively preparing, those of us who are set for that transition. All of these things are connected in this much larger, multi-dimensional learning, dance, play. I'm so pumped. Okay. Cuddle comfort. There's a platform for professional cuddlers, y'all. Cuddle comfort. I'm just learning about this now. I have no connection to them. And do your due diligence, but what a wonderful, wonderful thing that's happening in the world. Oh my goodness. Yeah, things are getting really weird. So let's talk about what's up, what's coming next. But I was decluttering and then could not continue standing. I was like, I'm falling through the dimensions. I had to sit my ass down. So this is what's happening. I just want to take a moment right now for my own experience in soul to mark that we're actually talking about this right now, that this is happening, that we're actually here. It's kind of like blowing my mind. Okay, so it's like all the dimensions are like feeling tickled by us right now, physically tickled. It's so delightful. They're giggling. We are now entering into this place. Okay, let's talk about history. I always love context first. We are entering into this place where the last 5-ish months we've been really actively pulling off we ourselves externally. The earth being has been dropping these layers of buffering and shielding. We've talked about this before. And that means now that has happened. There's this integration, there's this linear time thing, catch up that has to happen. And now we are entering into a stage of earthly existence. And this is particularly true for the web of light, the light holders, new dimensional healers, all of that. It's true technically across all of this reality, but the people who are noticing it and are able to work with it are us. That's a whole other conversation. So we are entering into true multidimensionality, and it's not going to be like all of it erupts all at once. We would implode. There would be like mass suicides, basically, and heart attacks. But we are going to start experiencing and starting to intellectually, ego-wise, understand and see it around us in the collective much more, where we're starting to integrate as a species that we are multidimensional and we are energy. And we say this all the time, but what that actually means is a philosophical change. And it impacts things. Here's a very obvious example. ETs, the search for alien life. The mainstream collective is still really focused on the physicality of that. The bodies, locations, how do they travel, ships, bound by linear time, like all of this stuff. And to a certain extent, that has purpose. But as most of us here know, consciousness is actually the cohesive unit of us, and that's true elsewhere, and that is not bound by space, time, or dimension. As I'm always saying, say it with me, everyone, say it aloud where you are. Energy is not bound by space, time, or dimension. Say it loud, say it often. This is the key, and this is a literal truth. This weekend, when I did the multidimensional day-long experience, our learning together in a energetic palace of learning. Oh my God, so much on the palace. One of the things that was important, that was Spirit brought it through, was to really demystify, to simplify, to normalize the fact that dimensions are everything all of the time, always. We're always experiencing them coming in and out, and we notice the impact of those things happening. We've just given them different names, or we've trained our consciousnesses, we are trained culturally, to filter them out more and more as we develop and mature. But we are all on the planet more sensitive than we started off 2 years ago, than certainly we were 10, 20 years ago. Some of you, if you really pause and think about the feeling of the earth when you were growing up, you can really see the difference. And we see the 3D world manifestation of the changes, greater rights and flexibilities and certain things like that, care for the environment, at least awareness. But really, that's just a material expression of an energetic reality. Feel the energy. Start practicing being energy first. Everything else around you is going to become much more, I don't even know which word to choose, enjoyable, aligned, easeful. You can spend your time doing the things you love doing instead of focusing on navigating this reality and trying to make things okay. What's happening down here? Yes, agreed. Aliens, demons, angels, ghosts. We have so many words for the unexplainable. Yeah. Saints is an interesting one that I have needed to work with quite a bit. That concept on this planet is really strong and shows up in most cultures in one way or another. Particular embodied human beings that are endowed with supernatural knowings, gifts, do healings, and are able to impact a much larger group of people than often happens for the average human. And so we've turned this into like a religious thing, and we simply just don't understand energy and the fact that this is a multidimensional reality. And it used to be very rare that there were humans who got that and were able to actually work with it. Shout out to the big JC. Excellent example of a channel working the energy grid. Jesus, is who I'm referencing here. A fantastic physical channel. And so because it was so rare and it wasn't as safe to express it in the first place, can we say witch hunts? There's all of this rarity, this magical holding them up on a pedestal thing that has been part of the earth experience, especially in the West, especially in Christianized countries and countries tied to the history of the Catholic Church in all its many forms. I have found that very uncomfortable. And it is a word that has floated around sometimes when people kind of are just seeing the super mirrored version of their light. That's always what's happening. I'm just reflecting your light back to you. But when they get kind of high on it, you know, that word has floated up, and I've had such a lifelong, like, ugh, no, like, and so I've had to do a lot of work with that and just bring it to this neutral place. It's the same as a demon. It's the same as an angel. These are structures that we have. These are words that we have to understand what sometimes feels like the ineffable from this 3D confined human existence. But when we step out of that into a fully open, new dimensional existence, all of those things shift their meaning. It's fun to shift the meanings. And it's important that we start doing that more and more. And the collective is ready, coming back to my original point, the collective is ready to start translating. So that's part of what I'm going to start working on recently. That's something that was coming through. Translating into like computer code language, like tech, everyday stuff, media. Spiritual concepts don't always have to have that language. I love that language. We'll keep that language here, but some of my writing and stuff, I'm going to start playing with that more, translating into the language of science. I know there are other people who are doing that in their own way too. Okay, what's happening down here? Travel like an artist. Great name. How do I get over the fear of feeling energy? Ooh, what a question. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, I still work with it. So first off, this is something one of my dearest teachers and friends offered to me last summer when I was having a very, very difficult time with my medicine work experiences. And the offering was to move towards not pushing away the fear, but learning not to be afraid of the fear. It's a thread there, and sometimes you have to just kind of marinate and let it come to you. But opening that up, allowing that experience to be outside of you and be like, all right, wow, we're working with fear, we're holding it. That starts to create more of a willingness in a space. So that's one part. The other part is it's about conditioning. Any resistance you're feeling, the vast majority of the time, is conditioning that simply needs to be cleared. And that's the work of this year. Everyone who is listening here, I can feel it on you right now. And it's true for the collective in general, but if you're drawn to my work, it is very likely that this year is your big year to really organize. It doesn't mean that you're going to have these enormous purges. Some of you might, but it's really like we've been doing all of this work and clearing, and now we're down to the things that are like the root stuff that we've been avoiding, and it was easier to do these other. It's like just the last of the stuff is there. And so, and now you're also energetically able, the grid is able to support you in a much more abundant way to do this kind of work. So if you're feeling afraid of the experience of energy, let that be okay. Work with yourself like you're guiding a child who's afraid of something new. Slowly, sustainably. We don't fight with the ego. Invite it, allow it. Connect with your feeling of safety and grounding always, always, always before engaging with energy. And as anyone who listens to my work often can tell you, the two most important practices are twice a day to ground your full self into your body and into your life. Take 2 to 5 minutes to do that. And to clear your energy. Like brushing your teeth twice a day, we clear our energy when we get up in the morning and before we go to bed at night. That's going to make a big difference. It's going to shift your relationship because energy isn't a thing, it's consciousness. Connect with that. Everything is consciousness. Everything is the one thing. You are the one thing. So it's just kind of like you're just like melting into the ocean a little bit. Imagine yourself floating. Take little dips into it, but do it regularly. Invite support. If you're feeling scared, speak aloud to spirit and say, hey, I'm starting to feel a little tense, a little freaked out. Can you make this feel better? And wait. Invite and just allow it to come in. Gabelvogel, where do you live? I'm curious. All countries where people are calling in saints interest me. Travel like an artist. Tell me more about what you mean with this, that you can't get past the demon influence. What does that mean? Yes, great question. This is a common one. Ah, Fleur is here. Welcome. So the old paradigm, as I call it, because really what it is a group of cohesive beliefs in one place. Everyone believes it functions a certain way, so it continues to function that way. That's what a paradigm is. So, oh, sorry, I'm running out. The old paradigm is likely to always be there. There's nothing wrong with it. And this is one of the big works this year for everyone here. We want to drop into neutrality. We want to stop judging everything, everyone, all of it. There's no need for judgment. Discernment, yes. Drop into your discernment practices. But that's neutral. We don't have to make everything about us. And that's ultimately what we're doing when we're judging something. When we're like, that's bad, or oh, that could be better, I'm better than that, or self-castigation, all of that, you're done with that. Listen to me now. You are done with that now. Judgment doesn't serve you, and frankly, it makes you boring. And I say that with love. What a lot of you are feeling stuck in your lives, you're feeling like there's the pull forward, but you don't know where to go. For some of you, the real work is to look at where judgment still lives, especially when it's directed towards yourself. That's why you're feeling bored in your life a lot of the time. When you have that really sticky, cloggy energy in you, around you, it makes it really hard for other stuff to come in. How did I get off on judgment? Where am I? I'm like floating, ground my energy. This all started, I came on here to this live because I was feeling so multidimensional. I thought I'd try to ground here. It is helping. Oops. What was I talking about? Judgment. I'm coming back up. Hold on, guys. Entropy, old paradigm. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So we want to stop judging the old paradigm. We want to stop judging the other political side, the people who have different feelings on the virus from you. Just let it go. It's none of your business. It really isn't. And you're going to be so much happier when you stay in your own canoe. And some of you are doing a great job of this already. Some of you are desperately trying to get the people around you to do this. That is also something to let go of because you're judging them. It's the very subtle judgment that we're all clearing right now, me included. I just caught myself this morning saying awful things to myself. I was just like, whoa, where did that come from? It's coming up because I'm clearing it. We want to be as neutral as possible about what's happening around us. It's happening. We don't have to like it. I can be like, ooh, that is disresonant. I hate the smell of that. I think the way it was created is disgusting and immoral. And that's me. That doesn't mean it's wrong for anyone else. And that can be a hard practice. Right? It's all energy. Energies clash. Think of all of these things as different keys on the piano. Some sound better together than others. You know? We don't have particular notes that are morally lesser. A C is not better than a G. And it's the same throughout the rest of this reality. So, as we drop the judgments, as we move into that, we can allow the old paradigm to do its thing, which means it exists less for us because we are consciousness and our awareness can only be in so many places as earth beings. What exists is what's in front of you. So choose what's in front of you. The old paradigm has many purposes and functions. It's a lot of fun in many ways for our souls. It takes a lot of work to have it exist in the first place. It's easier actually to have the fifth dimension than it is to have the third dimension. It's a huge effort that has happened here for our souls to have this experience. And there are parts that from a human perspective, we simply cannot fully wrap our heads around how the soul would allow that to happen or would want that experience. But that's because we're still anthropomorphizing, we're projecting our human experience onto what is absolutely not human. And that shift in understanding, that being aware of that perspective that we project onto everything else, that's a part of the multidimensional shift that's happening this year, or starting to open this year. We're going to start to see things very differently because suddenly we see it from the perspective of, oh, well, if I wasn't a human being making this judgment, it would have all this other information, perhaps. And there are many people on the planet who have been able to hold that perspective for a long time, but it is absent from the mainstream in many ways. So, no, old paradigm's not going away anytime, and certainly our existences here. We'll just do something else. And that's the thing. The earth has all these overlapping dimensions. So if you're fully anchored in your new dimension experience, the old paradigm is largely irrelevant. Even when you're witnessing and encountering it, for the most part, you're not in it. It's like watching a weird movie. You can see this sometimes in, like, if you watch videos of the Dalai Lama, when he receives like really heart-crushing news, like he will weep and it moves through him like a storm, but he's not grabbing onto it. It moves through his channel and then he's back to laughing in a few minutes. And that doesn't mean he didn't fully feel it. It's that he felt it so much through his entire being that he was able to move back into neutrality because it didn't become him. He didn't hold on to it. He didn't identify with it. He simply had his reaction and moved on. The fastest way, y'all, to work with the ego. This is a true new dimension. This is one of the defining things. We don't fight with the ego. We're not trying to kill it or purge it. The most active thing we're trying to do is integrate it. And we do that with love, with witnessing, with space holding, with abundance, not with judgment, We're not trying to fix it. The problem is that it's become separate and thinks that it needs to do all of this extra work because it's trying to do the job of all of divinity. Can you imagine how crushing that is? Imagine a child trying to do that, trying to run an entire household of a family like a 6-year-old. Paying the bills, a job, cleaning up after like incompetent parents, siblings, pets, angry neighbors, keeping the lawn cut. That's what we're trying to do when we're fighting with the ego, when we're trying to live from ego. And those are one and the same. Divinity doesn't fight with ego. Love yours. Take it out on a date. Pull out its favorite toys. Say prayers for it. Sing it songs. Take it on a trip. You want to melt it with the light into the light. You are a vast ocean. Your ego is like a single tear. Stop holding it in an enormous boat on the ocean. Just like drop it in. Shine your light on it. Hold space for it for a couple minutes. When stuff comes up, that's what you want to do. Melt it into the light. We don't want to fight because you're just feeding energy. It's physics, right? You start tugging with it. You're feeding energy into this oppositional relationship. Drop the rope. Nicole 44, yes. Love the efficiency of this. My Virgo heart sings. Can I clear my energy while brushing my teeth? Yes, do it. This melting of the thing that I just talked about, do that. There are so many different just like energetic mental clearing practices you can be doing. You can also do a thing like you have a little burn bowl and you drop some Palo Santo or something in there that's a clearing smoke. Put it on the floor, let it waft up, and you just like step over it or stand over it and let it kind of create a cloud over you if you're a sacred smoke person. Yeah, there's so many resources of ways to clear yourself just using this. And you can do that while you're brushing your teeth, and the more you practice it, the easier it becomes, obviously. But do things like that. You can do it standing in a line somewhere. The university I went to a Buddhist university. And one of the things I really appreciated about it is that they had signs everywhere, like at the cafe and such. So it was like, you know, encouraging you to remember to be in practice while you're standing there. Just drop into mindfulness. Love to all my Naropa folks out there. Yeah, and okay, so I love that you're highlighting this. Travel like an artist. Energy is consciousness, and this is a basic truth. This is like a foundational piece of all reality, all things, all interactions, allness. Because it also means that's how we move energy, is with consciousness. If you move your consciousness, you're moving energy. Which is where we get the old adage that floats about that energy flows where attention goes. Energy flows where attention goes. Energy flows where attention goes. Thank you, Spirit. I do a lot of singing and dancing my words. I'm a little bit of a human musical. I inherited it from my mother. Do I follow at Destination One Love? Possibly, I'm not quite sure. It sounds familiar. Okay, so we're down back to the clarification on demon influence. I also have to keep track of time because I have clients. If someone thinks of it at 10:30, give me a heads up. Okay, yeah, this is a really common one. Thank you for bringing it up. Demon influence is this, and this is true of most collectives, we all have to deal with this on some level, because we are soaking in the soup of religious societies where we're taught the unseen is dangerous. The energies are dangerous. There are ghosts and demons and temptations and underworlds and all of that. And those stories have had a really powerful function. They are controlling technologies. And I don't mean that like alien technologies. I mean any thought paradigm that has influence on people in an extended way is a technology. And organized religions have been really clear on that for a long time. And in so many ways, they have inverted the truth. We are actually much safer in energetic realms than we are in this physical world. This is a predator-prey planet. So it's programmed into this being that we are hunted. That is not the truth of things outside of this world. Energies are not trying to come and possess us and all of that. We can have relationships, unknowing, unwitting, unskillful relationships with unwell or unbalanced energies, but they're not evil. Evil is a human concept. Let that soak in. Evil is a human concept. Outside of this place, in all its different forms through the dimensions and emanations, the truth is there is light and absence of light. Neither one of them is negative or bad. Both of them have a function. The light has no meaning without the dark. Dark is not its own thing. It is the absence of light. So the moment that the light comes in, the moment you remember your divinity, the moment you are grounded in your channel in the own flow of light, which is all you are, it casts out the shadow. Which is why we always say when you're feeling creeped out in your house or something at night, or an energy feels unpleasant or like it's in your space, don't contract down, which is what we're taught to do. Expand your light. Fill the space. Make it really potent in there. Because that just clears. It pushes out. It transmutes. You are the light. You are not a drop of the light. You are the light. You are simply having an individual experience right now. But when you're working with energy, they're experiencing you as energy. They don't see your body. They see your energetic being. That is the truth of you already. And those beings are already there interacting with you all the time. Holding your ego's hand through some understanding, through some exposure, through building a deeper connection with yourself. Ah, yes, Spirit is saying this is the one for you. And for many. When you're grounded in yourself, when you're rooted, when you're in a connection with divinity, you can't feel fear. Something might feel just resonant. It might feel, I don't want to be with that. It might feel overwhelming, but it won't be fear. So ground the energy all the way through and you will feel the truth of what you're experiencing. And you ask yourself the questions, walk the ego through it. Am I safe right now? Am I physically safe? Remembering that the earth reality is the dangerous place, not the energy spaces. Yes, I am. Okay, feel that. Give it 10 to 30 seconds to land in the bodies. All right, I'm physically safe. Am I in my divinity? Am I feeling my full body? Am I connected to the earth? Yes? Okay. Do I feel resonant with the energy I am connecting with here right now? And it will be a yes or no. And it might just be a neutral, a deadness, in case that's a no. I want us all to take on right now that there is yes and not yes, which includes no, but also includes things like I'm not sure and maybe later, but not right now. Yes and not yes. It is not only your birthright, it is necessary that every single one of you drops into a yes-only existence. And that means an aligned yes, not an ego yes. Because ego yes, we worry, oh, I'll spend all of my money and eat all of the cheesecake and like, you know, never go to work. That's not actually the alignment for you. Soul alignment will find the path to having your needs met in the best way possible and will make the necessary pieces feel good, good enough. Moving from alignment means moving only from yeses. More and more from yeses until you're only in yeses. And that's what you're designed to do. And the longer you choose to not be that way, it is a doing for a while, but mostly it's a being. The longer you choose to pretend you're not that way, your life is not built that way. I mean, suffering is fighting against what is. You can make that choice. It's a free will dimension. You have the free will to choose to go with the flow of your design and divine guidance and will, or you can fight against it. Start small, little things. And when you're moving from that place, you're able to feel truth. And when you feel truth, it will be completely obvious. I don't need to worry about demons. I don't need to worry about going to hell. I don't need to worry about dark energies. These are all human constructions used to keep us separate from our divinity. It wasn't always such a conscious, megalomaniacal plan. It's what the virus of fear has done over time through human choice and free will. And you don't have to play that game. You can unwind it. You can find forms of Christianity that don't engage with that. Modern day contemplative Christianity is a real thing, and it is very healing for many who carry trauma from that particular religious path. My discernment feels like judgment. How can I know the difference? Well, if it feels like judgment, then it's not discernment. I have a decision tree I like to move through. Maybe this is a good workshop to do. Maybe we'll do a discernment workshop. Drop in the comments or send me a message if you have a particular afternoon length workshop you would really like to see me offer, because that's what I'm going to start doing more and more through Zoom, is offering these workshop experiences for different things. Discernment might be a good one because it's something that comes up a lot in these conversations. So discernment tree is, does it feel judgmental? Yes? Ego. All right. No, it doesn't feel judgmental. Okay, well, does it feel giddy, elevated? Does it feel like it might be feeding from the ego a little bit, wanting to be impressive or at all caring what somebody else thinks? Yes? Okay, well, that is ego, but let's drop beneath that and see if there's any value beneath it that we're looking for. If we separate out the ego parts, if we just sit and melt the desire to be seen, the wanting to be celebrated, the whatever it is, the feeling of giddiness of like, yes, that's gonna be something, because spirit's not giddy. When we separate that out, is there still truth left? Yes? Okay, let's feel it in the body, run it through. Does it feel like a yes? Does my body open and relax? Does it connect with the truth feeling? Because at that point it should be more clear, the truth feeling, which is an openness, a knowing, a pull towards it. If you have that, that's divine guidance. Now, if we go back up to it's not judgmental, and we also answer it's not giddy or inflated or anything, it just feels like this kind of just, this is just what is. This is a neutral thing. It's a yes. You feel the yesness in your body. Yeah? All right, that's divine guidance too. Really, it's just the process of separating out threads of energy to see what's what, because we're usually a mixture of things. And that awareness is developed over time to become more instinctual as you move through this discernment practice more. And you want to employ this every day as much as humanly possible. Down to the smallest things. Do I feel like a yes to get up and go pee right now? No? Okay. Maybe for some reason it's a better alignment to do it in 3 minutes. Down to that level. Feel it, because you're just noticing what's already happening in your body. You've just been programmed away from noticing. Just like you don't always notice everything that's happening with your organs and everything. Your awareness has been pulled away from a lot of the nuance. Okay. "3D is a playground," well said. So is 5D. It's a different playground. I do not prefer 5D. I mean, 3D is way intense, and I often wish for 5D. But if I was going to choose out of all of the dimensions, 5D is not where I would go. Yes, everything has unlimited dimensions to it. And to ever assume we get it from a human perspective. Yeah, exactly. We want to always be open, always in curiosity. We are ever becoming. This reality is ever becoming. By the time many of us exit this planet realm, for some of us that will be many, many decades, what is considered reality, the boundaries of what is possible, what we think of as physics, will be so different it would be unrecognizable to us right now, to most of us. We're letting go of this dominant paradigm, this unified narrative that is just like such a tool of fucking colonization. I could go on about colonization for days, but it's time. Just like let it go. And that also allows us to live more peacefully with everyone around us. Thanks for all the sweet words, y'all. And boredom comes as a result of that erroneous affirmation. Exactly. Deja vu is on fire today. You live in Costa Rica. Oh yeah, fascinating. It's an interesting integration too with the presence of nature there. I have not been there, but I feel into the energy there a lot because I'm thinking about coming down there. Yeah. It's a really interesting thing, the presence of angels and sort of the influence of Christianity throughout all of the places we call Latin America. Because in those places, energy, belief in the unseen, multidimensionality in general is actually much more alive and supported. Like I feel like a much more normal person when I'm down south. And also there's so much fear. You know, there's a lot of fear practices built into cultures that we have worked through often in the United States. We have other issues and other fear issues, but there are some ways of cultural norm maintenance and stuff that are still really alive in Latin America, and the way that interacts with energy and porosity and the cultural place of healers and angels and all of that is just really complex and interesting. Yes, let's make that a mantra. It's none of my business. That's a simple practice. Just drop it in. Let that be the go-to. I think that dude's an idiot. Well, that's none of my business. My father-in-law is saying racist, hateful, ridiculous things to the television, right? Not impacting people. We do need to stand up and be allies. But I'm saying, like, in the privacy of his own home, doing it, like, it's none of my business that he rants at his cat. All of these things that just rub us the wrong way, let's make it none of our business, because it's not. You know what else is not your business? While I'm on this topic, Spirit's like, reminder, it's none of your business to try and micromanage the details of how you're going to get where you're going. That is Spirit's business. Your business is to stay in your canoe, maintain and work on, raise your frequency, hold the emotional reality of the truth of that future already existing in you, right? When we visualize, manifest, co-create, whatever, we don't want to drop into the details, the nitty-gritty. We want to be actually as broad as possible to receive the opportunity to be surprised beyond our wildest dreams. That's what Spirit really wants. That's kind of like the bar it has set for itself, if we allow it. So go towards the emotion. How do I want to feel in that experience? How do I want to feel on this day 5 years from now? Ooh, let's all do that right now. Yes, that's the invitation. Close your eyes, ground, which means run your awareness from crown down through your feet out into the earth's energetic body. Breathing, knowing you're a tube of energy. And without getting specific, imagining it could be anything you wanted at all, any reality, what is the feeling of being you 5 years from now in your highest alignment? What does it feel like to wake up as that person? What is that bedroom like? How held in your life do you feel? Good. Feel the whole openness of your day ahead, how it's so aligned to your body's rhythms and structures. You have plenty of abundance of time and support, assistance, money, knowledge, direction, inspiration, creativity, love, 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 love. So much connection. And it's all flowing in front of you in just the right amounts, just the right forms, and you just feel it. And it makes you feel grounded and open. And what else? Breathe that through your channel for another moment. And when you're ready, open your eyes and come back to the space. All right, Long Creations, you've put in a vote for discernment workshop. Noted. On that topic, I want to say to everyone, because I'm speaking this is my co-creation that I'm speaking. I have feel a little exposed sharing this, and that's okay. This is me being vulnerable. I have been receiving a lot of really clear guidance and bringing together many different visions that have been floating for a while and didn't all fully make sense, and then they made sense. I am calling in human support. I need a person, people, to bring my work more fully into the earth realm. It is a really, really, really big entity if we think about the entirety of my work, and just bringing like the first point of the iceberg past the waterline is a lot. And I'm so grateful for all the support I've already received. All of you being here, all of you who follow me, who are my Patreon community, who come to my workshops, who simply send me your love. You are supporting that work coming into the earth plane. I'm just the midwife, right? Like I'm the channel bringing it through. But it keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I keep being asked to step into larger and larger visions. And so I'm at this place where it's time to start building structures and getting really concrete and scheduling things and all of that. So here's part of the vision that's coming through. And I'm glad to see that there's some of you here who are in the Saturday workshop, because that was a tiny, just the tiniest, thinnest veneer of what is going to start coming through. But it is this, so for those of you who aren't familiar with my overall work, this is what I do. I'm a multidimensional being. I'm a channel. I'm an embodied light being living very openly on the earth plane. I write. I have a Patreon community, and most of my like financial life is rooted in one-on-one sessions that I do over the phone with people. And that takes a wide range of expressions. You know, sometimes I'm channeling, sometimes they're just asking questions, sometimes we're doing purpose work, we're co-creating. I support multidimensional beings dropping into their greater awareness. And that takes all the different forms. I'm extremely flexible. And I have a toolbox that's like, I don't even know what to compare it to. It's big and very diverse. So I have been in this very private life. I am an introvert. I'm very comfortable. I am happy being in my tiny little bubble, talking to just a couple of people. I love just days and days alone, not talking to anyone. Love it. But my call is to be in public. And I've been coming out through starting the Patreon community, TikTok, all of that. Ultimately, I am here partly to do multidimensional teaching, and not in this form, also this, but in an actual kind of Atlantean form, really. I am bringing in 12th dimensional teaching technologies and integrating them into the earth grid. I am expressing them through myself, teaching them to others. And a lot of that happens in the subtle realms. So I have a background actually as a professor. That was my former self. I was a poetry professor and teacher of composition and rhetoric and multimedia art. So like I know how to like make a PowerPoint, but what's happening is essentially my soul is calling me to step into more of being a multi-dimensional professor of the unified soul physical being, right? The embodied light beings, because that's what y'all are doing, right? You're awakening to being embodied light beings on the earth plane at a moment of great transition. And you're going through that process on the road and connected to opening into your purpose, which opens you and roots you in your greatest joy and most easeful experience on the planet. Trying to do it the Muggle way is never going to work. Please let that land. You are not a Muggle. And I say that word with love. I know it can sound judgy. I actually mean it with love. I love them. We are them and we're not. If you resonate with my work, you already know you are a weirdo. And I love you for it. There's a reason for that. And the more you drop into your full expression, the more you let go of trying to pass, the more fun you're going to have. And I'm here helping that. And I am being called to help people do that in big groups, like an auditorium full of people. And traveling around the world doing that in different forms. My ego wrestles with this. It's okay. No, I'm not going to cry. For a minute there, I thought I was. This is exciting. This is wonderful. We're going to have so much fun. So much fun. My ego can't even fully hold it. It's like, oh my God, that might be overwhelming. But I am asking for, I'm not sure what, your inspirations. If you own a venue, if you know people who are good at managing multidimensionality and creativity, over time as I'm growing and I'm able to afford it, I'm going to have to be hiring people. This is a whole enormous thing that's trying to open up so these technologies can come through and I can teach as many people to do it as possible while I'm alive. So that's what I'm calling in. I'm calling in the structure in all its forms because I have trouble seeing the forms. That's what it is. I am the multi-dimensional floaty space girl and I'm learning to be here, but that's not my wheelhouse. And I need someone who can be like, oh yeah, I know how to line up like these speaking engagements. I'm really glad that I was trained so early to do public speaking. That was good design. Okay, enough about me and my whole thing. Let's get back in here with y'all. Wait, what time are we at? 10:33. Okay, I'm going to take a few more minutes, and then I am going to go to my task before I start taking calls this afternoon. If anybody's interested in exploring one-on-one sessions, you can follow the link in my profile. My link tree has information, and right now I'm actually running a special where if you are not in the top level of my Patreon community, it is 15% off individual sessions and 20% off packages of 3 hours or more, and then it's a deeper discount if you are at that higher commitment for my Patreon community. For those of you who are called to that work, since I know some of you are connecting with me for that purpose here. Okay. I think I just talked about what my work is. Glad you're feeling good about Saturday. Inez, thank you for the roses. What's going to happen in 5 years if the majority of existence is wiped out? I don't know what you mean by the majority of existence. There are many ways we can talk about that. This planet will be here. This planet's not going anywhere. All of the humans will not be gone in 5 years. We're going to have to adapt to a very different reality. There are also some interesting Easter eggs that are planted down the road that we're not able to take into account here. But yeah, in 5 years, things are going to be weird and intense. But I'm not sure what you mean by most of existence being wiped out. That does not resonate with the timelines that I have connection with, which is lots. But maybe it does for you. You could be writing different timelines. Glad it helped, Trisha. Welcome. Welcome into the room. Okay, this is a good topic, and I want to just note it. I can't go into it right now because I do need to go prep in a few minutes. But you're asking, how do you feel about, this is Lyric who is talking about, how do you feel about the COVID pandemic and how it's affecting our children? I have hours of thoughts on this. That might be a good live. Maybe that's a good workshop. Children, and it's not just COVID. COVID is a tiny, tiny thread, actually, of the overall reality we're living in. We've given it this hyper focus, and we exploded it out, and then we pinned a bunch of things on it, and we're expressing a lot of the reality through it. But it's not actually the linchpin to our experience here. There's a lot to talk about around parenting and children and education, especially in the United States and Western countries. There's a lot to talk about as far as the next 10 years. So let's try and remember that. Maybe send me a message to remind me that maybe that should be a thing. Okay. Mati! That's how I feel about Matías de Stefano. So I refer to him as Hermanito Mati. I don't know him personally as a human being. I know him very well outside of this realm. I've had no connection with him. I've seen some of his work. I really just love cheering him on from afar. I love the work he's doing. And I just hold a very special tenderness. All of us who have a good practice, either past or current, in channeling Yeshua, have a little bit of a shared heart thread. And so I adore him. At some point, I think we're set to cross paths somewhere out in the world. Maybe not. I don't know. Things are always shifting. What do you think of Matías de Stefano? For those of you who aren't familiar with his work, he is a guy from Argentina. He's in his mid-30s now, I think. And he, for most of his life, has been a rememberer, is how he calls it. He remembers in great detail other existences, past lives on this planet, languages, customs, and part of that is his soul work, right? Like, he's worked in what we call the Akashic records. But I love connecting with his work sometimes, especially when he's in a casual state, like on interviews and such, because he gets it. And so there's just like that feeling of familiarity, and the way he references things like He's always saying so much more than is actually coming out on the surface for a lot of the people who are connecting with his work. Not everyone. I mean, there's so many amazing aware people. But a lot of people get the top layer, but there's so much richness and complexity multidimensionally unfolding under it. And I just find it really entertaining. I laugh a lot. So thank you for bringing him into the room here, because I adore him. I love that you're taking notes. Travel like an artist. Maybe there should be a place at some point where we have, like, I don't know, community discussion board or something. People can take notes and post them or talk to each other. Like, that's the thing. Like, Spirit keeps being like, broaden the portal, like literal internet interaction portal. I'm like, I need people to do that. I already have one lovely, lovely person co-creating with me, Athea. Thank you for that crane, Carlita. Grounded earth energy ears are perking up. Yes. Thank you for the time check. Okay, that was a while back too. That was 10 minutes ago. So that tells me there's a lag in the comments. I keep thinking I'm going to catch up, but I'm apparently 10 minutes behind on comments here because the system is slow. Good to know. I wish I could stay for hours more. I'm really enjoying this particular mix in here, y'all. Please follow me on YouTube. I'm posting more there, and I'm going to start doing long content because I want to talk for like hours. And I want to have more one-on-one interaction. And if you have any inspiration around me coming to your area to channel, to do activations, to do multidimensional teachings and workshops, whatever, hit me up. You can email me. There's a link. Check out my website, all of that. I'm calling everyone in. There's a gathering of people and healers who are just like, it's time, we're ready, let's fucking do this, guys. All right, I'm sending you so much love.